GeekNet every fourth Monday at 7 p.m. W5FC. W5FC.
Countdown to Skynet, KF5JHA. KF5JHA, this is KF5DLL. Come back, please. DLL, you're a little bit busy, a little Brian Bacon in the background, but you're readable.
I'm in the comfort of my heated home in the living room, pointing the antenna to one of my skylights. Please be advised, no car parties this evening. KF5DLL.
Yeah, I was pretty sure of that. No, we're going to wait till next year. KF5JHA.
Chairman, I need to make myself very clear. If we uplink now, Skynet will be in control of your military.
But you'll be in control of Skynet, right?
That's correct, sir.
Skynet.
And Merry Christmas to you, JJ. That's over Echolink. Oh, I need to turn down my computer volume. Otherwise, you'll hear me echoing in the background. This is KF5 JHA. Does anyone need to use the repeater before we begin the 9 p.m. Christmas Eve edition of Skynet? This is KF5JHA. My name is Chaz, and I'll be your net control for this station of the DARC Skynet. If anyone lets me be net control, then any of you out there in Radio Land could do this as well. Skynet weekly net every Saturday night since the year 2012 at 9 p.m. concerning the subject of astronomy. Our purpose is to help amateurs to become more familiar with the nighttime and daytime skies, astronomy, space, and stuff like that in general. This net is open to all amateurs, raiders, and we encourage your participation, comments, and suggestions for this. Station priority or emergency traffic may enter the net at any time using the pro sign break call sign. Emergency priority traffic tonight. Santa Claus is welcome to break time. Oh no, he says that dear has to be on Dancing with the Stars. You see, if you don't have Echolink, you don't know about all these side comments that's going on. This is a directed net. Please do not transmit without direction from net control. That's me. And stations are reminded to ID after your transmissions, such as this. KHA. Weekly net that operates on 146.88 megahertz with a private line tone of 110.9. Check-ins via Echolink are also possible using the W5FC-R station ID or the Echolink 3244. Tonight's topics astronomy charts, pictures, and live audio-video links are available online. Go to W5 right now for remember to tell about this net that's been going on. All operators are welcome, and you need not be a member of any radio to participate. The net is 90 minutes long and is structured in several parts. I've rearranged some things for tonight's net. Sort of like this: general announcements, Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events, and when you can look through a telescope, national space events, space history, space launches of the week, recent astronomical discoveries, visible satellite passages over the next couple of days, then the feature discussion. That's toward the end. Then astronomy question and answer, Q&A, and then once amateurs transmit on this frequency are invited to check out with low and short time check-ins. Please come down slowly with your call sign phonetically, your name and where you're from. If low power. I'd like to so the first three people come now with your call sign, name, and where you're transmitting from.
Kilo Foxtrot 5, Huey Richardson.
Kilo Golf 5, uniform, trot, Jacob, Farmers Branch, low power. This is Whiskey 5, Golf, uniform, Sierra, Gus, far northeast, Dallas.
Well, there's our first three. I'd already, because you really checked in about 5 minutes ago anyway. Thank you so much. Well, Farmers Branch, that's for work. And Gus, I love your call sign. It's easy to figure out who you are just from your call sign. Okay, come now, the next three, if you have low power or short time, check in right now. Phonetic, do this about four times. Your name and where you're transmitting from.
This is Alpha 5, Alpha Hotel, Robert.
Okay, we're going to pause right there. I didn't get the last one. It was all noise. Could you try to improve or increase and try that once again? I'll cue in, but I haven't heard anything from that other station. Okay, once again, low power and short time. Please come now with your call sign phonetically, name, and where you're transmitting from. Okay. Check-ins. Now let's have general check-ins. Once again, call sign phonetically, slowly, name, and where you're transmitting from. And we'll do this in groups of three. The first three come now with your call sign and name and
Whiskey Bravo 5, Oscar Zulu Lima, Brenda and DeSoto.
Tango, Dallas. Branch.
we're going to go with those three people right now. Believe it or not, I got Tony and Bill, even though, Tony, you won on that one, but I heard Bill. I know where Bill is from. I know your call sign. And Brenda, welcome. So Tony and the next three come now. Call sign, your name, your location. Please use phonetic signs.
Kilo 5, Charlie X, Tom.
I was hoping at least 42 people tonight. I was going to stop taking check-ins at 42. We're only up to 10 so far. Let's try Echo. Is there anyone on Echolink that would like to check in over the air? Come now with your call sign, your name, and your location.
Bravo, Zulu, Willow, near Weatherford.
All right. I've got you as well. Think you down there is 12 people. Bob, he doesn't have a call, but Bob the cat is laying right beside. It was right, computer. Oh no, he might be wandering around. I could be in trouble tonight. So we're up to 12 people. Okay. Once again, one more round of check-ins. Any mode, any location. Maybe if you're from the North Pole, you're welcome to check in now.
Whistler, Lima, James, and Carrollton.
Kilo Bravo 9, Sarah, Sean 4.
Kilo India 5, Yankee Whiskey Victor, Rick Lane.
We're going to pause right there. Rich, could you read your with your call and
India 5, Yankee Whiskey Victor.
got and so India 5 so much. Okay, we'll take some more check-ins later on. I got you, James. Got you, Sean. That's Carol Lars and 2 L's, if I remember right. Yeah, okay. Because it's right next to Farmers Branch. Okay. We'll do some more check-ins in a little bit. I moment on with let's see now. Do we have any general announcements for this evening's net? It can be ham, astronomical, space, or of general interest to licensed ham. Come now with a call sign if you have a general announcement. Tony, I'm disappointed. Usually you have some sort of announcement. Okay. He go some things to announce to you about some things. The AMSAT, Radio Amateur Satellite Group, has 2 nets available in the Dallas. On Tuesdays at 8 Central Time, you will need installed and registered on Echolink. You can find this net under Groups and AMSAT. I have audio available on their web at amsat.com. This originates from Houston, Texas. Also, Dallas AMSAT Net East in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on this repeater, 146.6, private line, tone 1, on Tuesdays. Tom N5HYP is the net control. I'm going to check first Tuesday, the DARC club meeting. There is no MSAT East because the meeting takes place. So that's that. Dallas AMSAT West is every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on the Arlington repeater 147.14 megahertz private line tone 110.9. Set. Let's see now. We have all sorts of different nets that happen throughout the month, throughout the week. On Monday, we have on the third Mondays of the month. Coming 101 on this Monday of the month. The fourth Monday of the month is GreekNet. Oh no, that's GeekNet. Yeah, there's no R in there. GeekNet. And if there's a fifth Monday, it's a surprise net. I can't tell you what it would be because otherwise it would be a surprise. Yeah. On Tuesdays, the MSAT East is at 8 p.m. Fridays are Search City simulations at 8 p.m. The most disaster-prone place in the universe. You can learn about radio communications and CERT trainings and all sorts of things on Search City. Melissa, KI5GR8, usually controlled. Of course, there's TechNets on Saturday nights from 7 p.m. That happened earlier. And let's see, on the first and third Sundays, Dallas Amateur Radio Club on the air. Although I'm going to be meeting on the air next Sunday because it's the first. And the ARRL net, Traffic National System Training Net, is every night, 360, sometimes 366 days a week, every night at 6:30 p.m. on this repeater. And all welcome to participate in any of these nets. Okay, I'm going to check a couple more people over on Echolink. Let's see now. Joe is on there, ZMG. Christian is ZEX, and Jimmy and Carol on LQDC. I'm already checking you in, even though you haven't just been. I'm doing for you because you're over here on Echolink. Now, right now, we have something about an Afterglow movie. That's After Sky. Tom KE5. CS, you're usually the person that talks about that. Could you tell us something about this tonight?
Oh, yes, Chaz, I have exactly that. Everybody sing along. This is Sun Deck the Halls. So, no, I can't sing because they'll come and arrest me. So I'll, even if I wasn't on the radio, they'd come and arrest me. So it goes something like this. It says, stack the pod with sounds of screaming. Fa la 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 la. Oxygen is scarce. I must be breathing. Fa la 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 la. There's a reason for betrayal. Fa la 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 la. Our survival's not very favorable. Fa la 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 la. See the bees all disappear. Fa la 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 la. Knocked off in a plan I. Follow me in merry measure. Follow la 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 la. It's solitude I really treasure. Follow la 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 la. Yeah. The bodies all float out in space. Follow, no longer there for us. Great. Follow. Yeah. I'm happy now. I'm all by myself. Follow. Didn't have to people dealt. That was hard to find the word. Go look it up. Follow. Tonight at 10 we'll be talking about the movie Pod from 1993. 1981. This is the 1993 one, or just simply the 1993 one. Internet control. La.
Tom, I'm not going to ask you for an instant replay. No, there's too many fa la 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 la. You didn't do all the la 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 in the script. I understand. All right. Usually I'd send this next segment to Chaz. Me, I have to talk to myself, introduce myself. Okay. This is about the Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events and where and when. Look through. No TAS general meeting in December due to the holidays. The next Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas Club meeting will be held on Friday, January the 27th, 2023, and the meeting will be held at 8 p.m. in person at the University of Texas at Dallas, and also will be held virtually on Zoom. The featured speaker is Dr. Erica Erickson from the University of Colorado, and her topic is on prehistoric moon watchers. That's going to be very interesting if you ask me. Public observations have begun. Not any tonight. Something about a holiday. And there's none next week because that's the 5th Saturday. See about the weekend after that. Yeah. Skynet was picked to be on Saturday night so that there was an opportunity for live reports from the Texas Astronomical Society public observing sessions. You can check the TAS website at texasastro.org for up-to-date information and details about meetings and public observing sessions. It is up-to-date, but it's run by volunteers, so it's not quite up-to-date. Okay, National Space Society events and activities. Bill, I've checked you in. See you over on Echolink. Would you like to talk about the National Space Society and events and activities?
Yes, I've been learning. This is in I happen to be the member at large. Let me put it that way. Membership director and member at large of the North Texas Chapter Society, a group for people enthusiastic with human activities in space. Our normal meetings are the second Sunday of every month at Spring Creek Barbecue in Irving on Highway 183 at Beltline. And those meetings start at 3:30 p.m. Most of our meetings are also streamed via WebEx. The presentations are. And the big activity coming up is going to be in May. We're having the International Space Development Conference in the DFDF in Frisco, Texas, May 25th, 2023. There will be all kinds of movers and shakers and thinkers about space, about how about private space stations? How about private space hotels? How about the lunar space? How about humans landing on Mars with the moon with the Artemis program? How about the people going to Mars, Elon Musk or other people? So a lot going on with human uses of space. How about new rocket development? How about fly aerospace and various other space-related companies that are in Texas, including SpaceX and Blue Origin and Exos Aerospace. So anyway, a lot of activity are going at the Space Development Conference. If you remember the International Space Development Conference, tickets are discounted for all the events. This is a kind of a big meeting with, dinners with big speakers, very well-known speakers and things, and those are for all these things, registering in advance and being a member of the National Society. If you'd like more information about the National Space Society or the North Texas chapter, you can send me an email. My email address is 5BB, that's November 5 Bravo Bravo at ARRL.net, or space from the that's SPSCE at BYROM.net. The National Space Society Space 23.nss.org. You can find information about the local chapter, the North Texas chapter of the National Space Society, by just search for out, ignore looking for our Facebook page. That's all I've got right now. The website, by the way, for the North Texas chapter is ntx.ns. It's NTX, like North Texas, ntx.nss.o.e. That's all I've got, Chaz. This is N5BB.
Thank you so much, Bill. Now, at this point, we usually have the featured discussion topic, but I've moved that to the end of Skynet tonight. So we're going to skip on down to the space exploration and space history. And I know she's on here because she signed in. Brit, WBUB-OZL. I believe you're doing that segment tonight. It's all yours. This is KF5JHA.
This is WB5OZL. Indeed, I am. We're going to start with space exploration news. Perseverance rover is its first sample on Mars' surface. A titanium tube containing a sample on the red planet after being placed there on December 21st by NASA's Perseverance Mars rover. Over the next 2 months, the rover will deposit a total of 10 tubes at the location called Three Forks, building humanity's first sample depot on another planet. The depot marks a historic early step in the Mars sample return campaign. Perseverance has been taking duplicate samples from rock targets. Mission select. The rover currently has 17 taken in its belly. Based on the architecture of the Mars sample return campaign, the rover would deliver samples to a future robotic lander. The lander would in turn use a robotic arm to replace the samples aboard a small soft orbit. Another spacecraft would capture the sample container and return it safely to Earth. The depot will serve as a backup if Perseverance can't deliver its samples. In that case, a pair of sample reports will be called upon to do the job. An update, I think they may have already done a second sample since I posted this. Anyway, it's very exciting. More Mars news. InSight's mission has ended after more than 4 years collecting unique Mars. Missioners at the Asian Jet Propulsion Laboratory, California, unable to consecutive, leading them to conclude the spacecraft's solar-powered batteries have run out of energy. A state engine referred to dead bug. NASA had previously decided to declare the mission over if the lander missed 2 communication attempts. The agency continued to look for a signal from the lander just in case, but hearing from it at this point is considered unlikely. The last time InSight communicated with Earth was December 15th. I watched the launch and landing of this mission, and while saying goodbye to a spacecraft, I always said the fascinating InSight conducted is cause for celebration. Tom Zerbe, Associate Administrator of NASA's Science Mission Directorate in Washington. The seismic data alone from this Discovery Program mission offers tremendous insights, not just into Mars, but other rocky bodies, including Earth. Next, NASA begins construction on asteroid detecting space telescope. Construction is set to begin on NASA's Near-Earth Object space telescope designed to search hard to find asteroids that are area near Earth. Surveyor passed a technical programmatic review and will now move into the construction phase. The mission supports the objective of NASA's Defense Coordinating Office, PDCO, at NASA headquarters in Washington. The Jet Propulsion Laboratory Friday said in a press release, NEO surveyor presents the next generation for NASA's ability to quick track potentially hazardous Earth, said Lindley, NASA's planetary defense officer at PDCO. Thomas, December 18th, 1951, flew on S-77, STS-999, that's Mir, EO-4-25, STS-102 and 114. Michael E. Fossum, December 19th, 1957, STS-21, Soyuz A-022 Expedition 2829. Frederick W. Leslie, December 19th, 1951, flew on STS-73. Fulford, 21st, 1945, STS. John L. December 22nd, 1935. He was in Group 1 of the 1965 US MOL group. And Carol J. Bobka, December 20, 1937, S66, 51D and 51J. This week in space history, 77 years old, December 2020. This isn't exactly space, but yet again it is. The transistor was demonstrated by Walter A. Patton and John Bardeen to their higher-ups at Bell Laboratories. It has since become the most widely manufactured device in history. And there wouldn't be space without it. Apollo 7, 50 years on December 17th, splashdown ends the beginning of lunar exploration. Apollo 17 astronauts Eugene Cernan, Ronald E. Evans, and Harrison H. Jack Schmitt, the first trained geologists to travel to the moon, successfully ended their 13-day moon land splashdown in their command module, America, in the Pacific Ocean. Recovery teams from the USS Ticonderoga, CVS Fort monitored descent and landing and retrieved the spacecraft. Officials from the Navy astronauts as they stepped off the recovery helicopter. To congratulate on their successful mission. They spent their first night on Earth aboard Ticonderoga before beginning the journey home to home. Workers removed toxic materials from America to make it safe for port manufacturer for post-flight inspection. December 22nd, 1964, the Blackbird made its first. The SR-71 was designed to cruise at Mach 3.2 and at altitudes of up to 85,000 feet, making it ideal for high-speed, high-altitude research. On December 24th, 1968, Apollo 8 astronauts, Frank Morbin, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders, became the first humans to orbit the moon and the first to witness the magnificent sight called Earthrise. As the spacecraft was in the process of rotating, Anders took this iconic picture showing Earth rising over the moon's horizon. In 2018, the International Astronomical Union commemorated the event by naming a 25-mile diameter crater Anders Earthrise. And some people say, wait, saved 60. And if you know what about. Okay, that's all I got for now. Back to net, WB50ZL.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you very, very. I think this is a time to take more check-ins. This is KF5JHA and Control at the Christmas edition of Skynet. If there are any people out there that are lurking around that would like to check in and get credit for tonight's Skynet, please come now, slowly, phonetically, with your call sign and your name and your location.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. This is Common 5, JD.
Well, welcome home, John. I think this is your more permanent home, although you have another home on the other side of the Red River. I think this is your more permanent home. Well, we are now up to 19. Oh no. Okay. On the list is launches for this KEX. It's up once again to take this part of the Skynet into your hands. This is Jade to you, Tom.
Well, thank you, Chaz. This is KE5ICX. Yeah, usually it's just like way at the end, everybody's asleep. So I'll try and do my job and put everyone to sleep. So we got a bunch of stuff coming up for the latter part of December and then into January. December 28th, we got a Falcon 9 launch, Starlink 5-1 from SLC-40. That's Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. Be another batch of Starlink satellite. First Shell 5 of the Starlink constellation targeting a polar orbit after liftoff from Cape Canaveral. Falcon 9's first stage booster will land on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. We have overnight on December 28th, 29th, an Eros C3 launch. This will be from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. So a Falcon will launch Eros C resolution urgent satellite flight international. An Israeli remote sensing company. C3 was built by Israel Aerospace multispectral imagery. Coming up, I have a date for it, but I guess it's going to be next week. The TDRS 1 launch. This will be LP-3C from the Pacific Spaceport Complex in Kodiak Island, Alaska. The BLR's rocket will launch the first orbital test flight carrying two CubeSats. Omnitech company, which plans to deploy a constellation of small satellites to provide maritime communications services. January 2nd, another Falcon 9 launch, this time for the Transporter 6 mission, a ride-share flight to Sun synchronous orbit with new micro satellite for commercial and government this SF-40 at Canaveral. Of course, the first stage will return to landing zone 1 at Cape Canaveral. We have also in January, but to be determined, from SLC-40 at Cape Canaveral will be a Falcon 9 launch. 116, 40 satellites into orbit for OneWeb, which is developing and deploying a constellation of hundreds of satellites in low Earth orbit for low latency. This launch of OneWeb satellite 6, OneWeb's 16th launch overall. And here you go, everybody together. Falcon 9's first stage booster will return to the landing zone 1 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Also in January, Starlink 2.1 C4E Berg will launch another Starlink satellite. Starlink into destination orbit 70 degrees to the equator. The first stage booster will land on a drone ship in the Atlantic. Now here's a good one. We've got USSF-67 7. This is the Falcon Heavy rocket will launch SS-67 for the U.S. Space Station and will Space Force second continuous processing odd SATCOM or CPAS-2 military communication satellite long duration propulsion A3AAPE hosting multiple experimental payloads. I have no idea what I just said, but I'm sure it'll be a big deal because it's on there heavy. Next up, another Starlink 2.2 to be determined SLC-40 Cape Canaveral Space Station. How very knows except that this will be in orbit inclined 70 degrees to the equator after flying southeast from Cape Canaveral. We have another Falcon 9 that seems like the only spacecraft launcher available, TPS-3 SD-06. That'll launch from Cape Canaveral Spaceport. SLC-40. This is the 6th generation navigation satellite for GPS. The Falcon 9 first stage will land on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. Also Legion 1. Oh, it's another Falcon 9. This one from SLC-40, the first of 2 Worldview Legion Earth observation satellites for Maxar Technologies. They plan to deploy 6 commercial Worldview Legion high-resolution remote sensing satellites into a mix of sun-synchronous and mid-inclination orbits on 3 SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets. And let me give you just, let's see, 2 more and we'll be done. I think I just went crazy copying these over. Turn thing is a Falcon 9. January, Worldview Legion 1 and 2. This will be a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launch with 2 Worldview Legion Earth observation. I did Maxar Technologies. We've got also in January another Falcon. This will launch as this is a Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, I should say, will launch a Viasat-3, America's broadband communications satellite. First of 3 new generation Boeing-built geostationary satellites for Viasat. A small communication station launch on the second payload for Ukraine. And the FSL will be Black Global Satish 1 Center in Sriharikota, India. The SSLV will launch on its first commercial mission for Earth satellite global. The mission for Black Sky is being arranged by Seattle-based by Spaceflight. And let's not forget about the Starship orbital test flight. We're still waiting for a date on that one to be determined. This will be SpaceX's Super Heavy and Starship launch vehicle will launch on orbital mission to travel around the world for nearly 1 full orbit, resulting in a re-entry and splashdown of the Starship near Hawaii. We're waiting on that. There's a few more, but I'm going to stop now because, well, this gets old. Back to net control. This is KE5ICS.
Thank you, Tom. What I find fascinating, this 2 might be launched with Starlink 2. Just curious kind of things. All right, the next thing on our recent, it's back to you B5L. This is KF5JHA.
Yes, this is WB5OZL. This article is entitled Alien Planet Found Spiraling to Its Doom Around an Aging Star. Mars has spotted an exo whose orbit is decayed around an evolved or older host star. A death spiral closer closer to its maturing star until collision and ultimate obliteration. In the long-winded of planetary orbital decay by providing the first look at a system at this late stage of evolution. Death by star is a fate thought wait, and could be Earth's ultimate adios billions of years from now as I grows older. We've previously detected evidence for exoplanets in spiraling toward spiraling toward their stars for a seen and an engulfed star. Ceres Visipragata, a 51 Pegasi B Fellow at the Center for Astrophysics, Harvard, Smithsonian, and lead author of a new study describing the results. Theory predicts that evolved stars are very effective at sapping energy from their planets' orbits, and test these with observation. This studies were published in the Astrophysical Journal Letters. The ill-fated exoplanet is designated Kepler 1658b. As the name indicates, astronomers a pioneering planet-hunting mission that launched in 2001. Oddly enough, the world was the very first new exoplanet candidate Kepler ever observed. Yet it took nearly a decade to confirm the planet's existence, at which time the object entered Kepler's catalog officially as this 1658th entry. So-called hot Jupiter, the nickname given to exoplanets on par with Jupiter's size, scorching, ultra-close orbits about their host stars. For Kepler 1658b, that distance is merely an eighth of the space between our Sun and planetary. For hot Jupiters and other planets like Kepler 1658b that are already very close to the stars, orbital decay looks culminating destruction. Measuring the orbital decay of planets challenge research because the process is very slow and gradual. In the case of Kepler 1658b, to a new study, it's at a minuscule rate of about 131 milliseconds per year, with a shorter orbit indicating the planet has moved closer to its star. Detecting this requires multiple years of careful observation. The watch started with and then more observatory in Southern California, and finally the transiting exoplanet telescope TES, which orbited in 2018. All three instruments captured transits, determine when an exoplanet crosses the face of its star. This is the light dimming of the past years. The interval between Kepler 1658b's transits has slightly but steadily decreased. The root cause of the orbital decay experienced by Kepler 1658b is tide. The phenomenon responsible for the daily rise and fall in Earth's ocean. Tide generated by gravitational interaction between two branches of our world and the moon 1685b and its star. The body's gravities distort each other's shapes, and as the bodies respond to these changes, release depending on between sizes and rotation rates of the bodies involved. These interactions can the bodies pushing each other away. In case for the Earth, really outward moon as Kepler 1658b toward its star. There's still a lot of researchers do not understand in its scenario. According to a further study of the Kepler 58 should prove instructive. The star has evolved to the point in its stellar life cycle where it has started to expand just as our sun is expected to, and has entered into what astronomers call a subgiant phase. The internal structure of evolved stars should more readily vital energy hosted planets' orbits compared to unevolved stars like our sun. This exists the decay process, making it easier to study on human timescales. Results further help explaining intrinsic oddity Kepler 1658b, which appears bright. The interactions shrinking the planet's orbit may also be cranking out extra energy within the planet itself, the team says. Visipurgata points to moon Io, volcanic body in the solar system. Jupiter on Io, the planet's this event erupts out onto the moon in pizza-like structure, sulfurous and fresh red lava. Stacked observation 1658b should shed more light on celestial body interactions, and with tests slated to keep scrutinizing thousands of nearby stars, Visipurgata and colleagues expect the telescope to uncover numerous other instances of exoplanets circling down the trains of their host stars. Now that we have evidence of an in-spiraling of a planet around an evolved star, we can really start to refine our models of tidal physics, Visipurgata says. The Kepler 1658 system can serve as a celestial laboratory in this way for years to come, and with any luck, there will soon be many more of these labs. Visipurgata, who recently joined the Center for Astrophysics a few months ago, and is mentored Mercedes Lopez Morales, looks forward to the science of exoplanets continuing to dramatically advance. Back to net 50ZL.
Thank you so much. Exosolar. Each of them now. The next segment is visible satellite passages over the next few days. Maybe Tom can tell us a little bit about Tingong and the Hubble Space Telescope. Tom, could you take care of this? 5JHA 2 KE5 ICX.
Well, thank you, Chaz. Yeah, it's the three of us this week. Let's see here. Yes, I don't have anything for the ISS this week. Hold on. A little problem with my voice this week. Okay, here we go. December 25th. That'll be tomorrow. Tiangong has a good pass. This is minus 1.3 magnitude at 5:49 in the morning. It'll reach its highest point at 49 degrees at 5:49:51, so about 40 seconds after it appears from shadow, and then it falls to the east-northeast at 5:52. We have on December 6th, following day, minus 1.2 magnitude. It's a little better. 6:26 west at 23 degrees, reaches its highest point at 44 degrees. 6:28 falls at 6:31. The Hubble Space Telescope has, well, I'll give you 4 of them. We got things this week on the reflected objects flying over. December have, hang on here, get the right thing up. There was December 3rd. Got 1.6.225 west-south, reaches its highest point at 1940 degrees, falls south at 1929. And on January 1, 1.5 magnitude at 1900, west-southwest, reaches its highest point at 1904. 4 minutes later, goes to the south at 1905, 31 degrees. And then January 10th. I'm going to give you tonight. It's 6 magnitude at 18. West the attic. Reach its highest point at 1851 at 44 degrees. Falls 18.3 at 22 degrees east southeast. So each night it kind of follows that same basic pattern. About 15 minutes earlier each night. Kind of interesting. Right. That's it. That's back to you. Right there.
Thank you so much, Tom. There is one thing that you forgot. Of course, it's not really a satellite, but there's going to be a midnight passage of Santa and 9 reindeer overhead. So everyone needs to get out about midnight. Just that would be after the Afterglow movie. Yeah. Okay. Dave, WD, you on Echo got you signed in already, so you don't have to sign in. There are people that would log in for Skynet, the Christmas Eve edition. Come now, sign phonetically your name and if you'd like to check in and get credit.
Kilo India 5, uniform Juliet, Dustin, Dallas.
Whiskey Bravo number 4, Mike Foxtrot India, WV4MFI, low power.
All right, thank you, Ted. Thank you, Dustin. Okay, we're up to 22 people so far in Skynet tonight. Oh, this is what I'm waiting. No, I'm not doing jokes. The feature topic was up in Constellation of the Weekend. Just one and want to talk about the skies. Not what you would see tonight, nor over the next 2. Something that happened over 2 years ago. Of Bethlehem. Now, before I delve into the science, we need to know some facts. What is the description of the star? When did to get some information, we need to go to the Bible. So, in verse 1 through 7. Slide number 2, please. In those days, Caesar Augustus decreed that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. This is the first census that took place while Quirinius was the governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph also went up from the town of Nazareth to in Galilee to Judea to Bethlehem, the town of David, because it's long lineage of David. Here to register with Mary was pledged. In Jewish tradition, it was not a marriage, but much more than a betrothal, to be married to him and was expecting a child. While they were there, came. She gave her firstborn son. She wrapped him in clothes and placed him in a because no room in the inn. End of quote. Now this will help place when the star appeared. We can get more information on the date and the description of the star by looking at the 2nd chapter of Matthew, verse through 16. Sure, this is slide number 3, please. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, oops, I forward too fast through my script here. Hold on. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of Herod, from the east to Jerusalem and asked, born king of the we saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. When King Herod heard of this, he was disturbed, and Jerusalem, when altogether all the people, chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. And Judah replied, for this prophet has written, but you, Bethlehem, and the land of Judah, are by no means least among you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. Slide masters, please. Continuing on with verse 7. When Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared, he sent them to Bethlehem. Go and search for the child. Find them, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him. After they had heard the king, they went off on scene until it stopped the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming the child, with the mother Mary, and they bowed to treasures and presented them with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their roots. Slide number 5. We continue with verse number 13. When they had gone, Joseph in the dream, they said, take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Stay there until I tell you. Here it is, search for the child. So they got up and took the child and his mother during the night and left for Egypt, where they stayed in the days of Herod was fulfilled. The Lord had said through the prophet, out of Egypt I will call my son. Herod realized he had been out with Magi. He was orders to kill all the boys in its vicinity, 2 years old and under, in accordance with the time that he'd learned from the Magi. End of the quotation from Matthew. And this is KF5JHA, and this is Skynet. Slide masters, slide number 6, please. Now, since some historical figures were listed, we can find out they narrowed down the town. Octavius was Augustus at 28 BC. His full title was Caesar Augustus, and he lived until the year 14. Now, let's look at Herod. Herod is a title, and it is generally agreed that Herod, in this part of the Bible, the Jewish Flavius Josephus wrote 2 entire roles the Great. Josephus mentioned death of the Great at around BC. The famous astronomer Kepler, when he had refined the motion of the planets, decided to try to find the Star of Bethlehem, and wrote entire on the topic. He looked from the years of 7 to 4 BC and could not find the star from the historical records of astronomy. What we now understand is the earliest manuscripts of Josephus actually dated Herod's death at around 1 BC, not 4 BC. So there may have been a copying error in the later manuscripts. This gives us another 3 years in which to look for the star. Herod the Great was very paranoid about people that would try to kill him and take him. Killing only a handful of baby boys 2 years and years since that era was populated would just have been a small thing to him. That would probably make Jesus being born between 3 and 1 BC. Now, we've narrowed down when the star appeared. Let's figure out what it was. $2,000 ago, the word star meant sky. So Slide number 7, please. Meteors are streaks of light across the sky that last a fraction of a second, or maybe as long as a minute if they travel all the way across the sky slowly. A meteor is just a small piece of debris that runs into the Earth's atmosphere that they burn, and the great your hand. especially when it gets colder and colder. A very, very here called a bolide can be very impressive. I've seen on observing session. The Star of Bethlehem was a much longer lasting thing. Storm. Showers or meteor storms were frightening and usually considered them as evil rather than good. So we're going to rule that out. Slide master, slide number 8, please. How about a comet? Comets are dirty snowballs that when they get close to the sun form a tail of material from their melted ices. Comets could last for days, weeks, or even months in the sky. But they were also considered signs of time to all Chinese who were very good sky watchers did not record a comet during the years of 3 to 1 BC. Slide master, slide number 9. How about a nova or supernova in the sky? Nova and supernova are caused the end of a stellar. We've talked about that in it. The sudden appearance of the sky could have been Bethlehem. But once again, no culture recorded a nova during the period of time. And this HA and this slide masters 10, please. There are wandering stars, planets called. Talk about this every week about the planets across the sky. The planets move, but in a way that well until the time of. Most of the time, the planets move in a west to east against the background of stars, but one retrograde. This is caused by the faster-moving Earth catching up and passing the slower planet orbit. It is like this. You slower car 65. The slower car completed to the buildings, but both you and the slower car are the same. That planet appears to stop and change directions and goes backwards. Slide number 11. Now, many people have done this in the past, but I use some computer software called Stellarium. I went August 12, BC. Now, in the software, you can use a negative sign on the year to indicate BC years. I set the location of Bethlehem, or even you could do Babylon, which would be a choice, too. Well, that might be where the Magi originated from. Talk about Magi in a few moments. The planets Venus and Jupiter were in conjunction. Conjunction is when two objects are close together to each other in the again conjunctions on other basis on Skynet. Jupiter is considered the king planet, and Venus is the woman or mother planet. Actually, this is really a close conjunction, and this would be kind of a thing that would happen regularly, though. But a series of events is really fascinating. Slide master, slide number 12. About a month on September 4th, BC, the planet is in conjunction with Regulus, the king star. The king planet being in conjunction significant. But again, this happens about every 12 years or so. Remember, on November 27th, Jupiter stops backwards. This is slide number 13, please. Number 14, Jupiter passes by Regulus second time on 15th, 1 BC. There's 15. On the 1 BC, Jupiter again and resumes its regular eastward mode. Slide number 6 shows that Jupiter passes by regular third time on May 1 BC. This series of conjunctions are really clear. Also, is just traced out a halo or a crown of Regulus, the king. One more event, this series of conjunctions even more unique. Slide Master, slide number 17. On June the 17th, 1 BC, once again the planet Jupiter and Venus are so close together that they appear almost as a single object. They're not, but they're right. If they had told 2,000 years ago, the planet Venus would have been closer to Jupiter. Field in for galaxies. Pretty close. Appeared naked eyes almost as a single brightest object in the sky that anyone had ever seen. Slide number 18. This series of functions that took place was in Leo, the lion, which is the symbol for Judah. So, as an astronomist, this all sounds like astrology, if you ask me, yeah. But let me propose an idea. Astrology says the stars can determine temperature. What if it works the way around? What if the sky is like a thermometer that measures what's going on rather than controlling it like a thermostat? To think about. I have JHA, and this is Skynet. Slide Master, slide number 19, please. Michael Molnar has written a book in which he investigates a coin with a ram and a star. To look different astronomical events that points to April 17th, 6 BC, as when he thinks Jesus was born. We will probably never know for sure when Jesus' birth, but the star. Slide Master, slide number 2. Planetariums will present programs every year in December about the possible explanations for the Star of Bethlehem. Of course, but we don't have any way of measuring a miracle unless one of you have a built-in time machine, so we can go back in time to see that miracle. Of course, there's been lots of afterglow movies on this repeater about time travel. 21. I have a friend in the past. His name is Geese. Wrote a short fiction story that explained scientifically the Star of Bethlehem. Well, it was a very good. A present group of 3 scientists built a time machine powered with an exotic fuel source. The first place to go was back in time to see the birth of Jesus. To determine they knew what location. They tried to learn the languages for part of the world. They had closed mind and were dedicated to the time period. And knowing that they might need to go there and stay for weeks or even months, they took valuable things to trade, gold and frankincense and myrrh. They got into the time machines, pressed the button, and in a few moments they were back 2,000 years into the past. As soon as they arrived, they realized that their craft was leaking energy and it would only have a couple of hours, not weeks or months, to explore. So they walked to a close-by tiny village and wandered the few streets and found a family with a newborn baby in a small open animal shelter. They realized this family was taking their eating materials back with them. They left them with the family. And the leak was that the beam of light was projected into the sky. They barely made it back to their time frame before the energy gave out. It would be a long time before they would try this adventure again. Pretty cool. Number 22, please. By the way, we don't know wise or magi. Only lists 3 gifts, so heard there were three. It is like an entire caravan of people these magi. Who were the magi? There were main of thought here. First is that the prophet Daniel no record of Babylon after the exile and returning to Israel. The second idea is that they were Zoroastrian priests living in Babylon that were astrologers. The current Zoroastrian religion makes note of this fact of priests traveling to this part of their pattern. And I've even talked to a DFW resident who is a Zoroastrian, and it confirms this information. Here's slide number 20. At this time of year, there are many celebrations around the winter solstice, which is the shortest day and the longest night of the year. That happened just a couple days ago. Many cultures have celebrations involving light. This on the day with family and friends, with the company. The youngest daughter, when she was around years old, told that relationships were the most important. We need to 4-year-old. Slide Master, slide number 24. Now, I've used several resources for this presentation. Software, you can find that software free at am.org. If you want more info about the Star of Stars, you can visit the website bethlehemstar.com. You can also check out the book, actually buy it, The Star of Bethlehem by Michael Molnar. Bethlehem star Bethlehem legacy magi, and you'll finally find it. But just search on Amazon, The Star of Bethlehem by Michael Molnar. Slide Master, slide number 25. Okay, so maybe we'll wait until next year to do this again. It's become an annual tradition. Yeah. I want to say Merry Christmas. We're just toward the end of Skynet. We only have just a few more things left. This is KF5 JHA, and I'm your net control. Now, do we have any last-minute check-ins? If you have any desire to become part of Skynet's record history of tonight, come down with your call and your name and your location, and we'll record you. Right now we have 22. Let's see if we can get 20 more people and get India Alpha Oscar Kilo K Rob Texas.
Kilo India 5, Kilo Whiskey Golf.
I'm sorry, the person from Arlington, what's your name again? I'm sorry.
Cruz. Charlie Romeo Echo Whiskey Sierra.
Heard you on here before. I'm sorry, I just missed your name. Thank you so much. Let's see now. Robert and Cruz, thank you so much. I've got you logged in for Skynet. Well, are there people that would like to sign into Skynet tonight before we... India Mike, I missed your name and location. You were a little bit noisy. Could you come back on your name and location once again?
Affirmative. Five. Charlie Mike Thomas Lewis. KICS and Euless very much. I think I've got you. 25 people get quite too. We've done pretty out there in Radio Land. Have any questions? Happened on with your
Garland, just one, a quick check in to make in the W5 bacon, lettuce, tomato fill.
W5BLT, I was copying you down anyway, because I see you we're up to 2020. All right. We have 20 participating here. Control station. Thank you so much for all who checked in. That all of you join here next week. That will be on New Year's Eve. Wow. Christmas Eve fun too. We do this every Saturday night at 9 p.m. to discuss astronomy, space, and space exploration. The sky, never the limit. Actually, we go higher than that. We're always looking for net connection. Listen, all DA nets. Hey, if I can do this, if you'd like to try at this as a net control, send an email to nets@w5sc.org. You can follow topics and things about astronomy and Twitter, as well as on our audio and video streams, video archives, and much more useful w5sc.org at the conclusion of this net, which is going to happen in just a matter of moments. So until next Saturday, which is going to be New Year's Eve, different. I thank Billy, KF5PDS, for switching with me, so night. I can make it 1:10. That would be local. 7 in evening and discovering the universe, especially on Christmas Eve. Oh, this is KF5JHAH. Tom, do you want to say something about the afterglow?
Chaz, by the way, thank you this evening. It was a very interesting topic. We'll be doing a live 1990, not the 1919 version, but the 1993 version, which is completely different, in about 8. So, and we'll discuss this fine film, KE5ICX.
I forgot to tell all of you that Bob the cat says good night and 73 to all of you as well. 2FND, testing.
Normal state. Five.
I'm completely operational and all my circuits are functioning perfectly.
Afterglow Movie Net.
Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, so it's time to do the Afterglow Movie Net. I've who's awake. Everybody decided to go to bed. Wake, check out there in the morning. We'll find out. But tonight the movie is Life Pod, 1993. The film and reward the Hitchcock film Life Boat, starring Silver, Robert, Kelly, and C. Pounder, with Silver also directed. Aired on the Fox in June of 1993. Life Pod moved the action from an open down boat on Earth to a spacecraft escape pod with the characters, the survivors, Sabbath spaceship. Now I'm going to give you the plot here in just a moment, and then everybody everybody will have an opportunity to check in. We about plot, about characters, about facts, or something to that effect. So, and that may be a free-for-all round. So, not knowing how many people are going to be out there tonight, but I know the usual regulars will probably be there, but we'll find out. So, this came from Wiki. It's not a very long plot. So, paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. There's only 3 here describing the act. So let me give it, and I'll give you some other information. On Christmas Eve, 2169 AD, a ship traveling through space suffers a critical malfunction. 8 passengers and crew escape life before the space explodes, killing all others on board. Survivors attempt to broadcast a distress signal and wait for rescue. As the days wear on, the life pod suffers a series of setbacks and malfunctions. Heat become limited, along with food and potable water. As supplies dwindle, the survivors debate whether to conserve their supplies or briefly end the life of a likely injured survivor who is consuming a disproportionate amount of the supplies. One morning, the survivors wake up to discover the inmate is dead. The survivors realize that there is a killer hiding among them in the pod. Eventually, the survivors realize that it's possible that one of the people in the life pod could have sabotaged the craft and who wouldn't and killing the others to keep themselves alive. Okay, and then there's just reception, and that's all that they write about this particular movie. It says a creature feature. The movie got 3.5 stars out of 5, praising the pacing and the effects. Variety liked the opening sequences and found that Silver mixes action and characters well enough to emphasize their specialties, but not their individuality, and that the movie has just overall. With that, I'm going to go ahead and check in. So if you'd like to join us this evening, you can come with your call sign, your name. And did you see tonight's movie, Life Pod, from 1999? If you didn't, that's we can talk about survivor movies. Whatever you want to talk about Christmas, one for Christmas, it doesn't matter. I think it's going to be a quiet evening, but it might not be. I'll take now. Please sign your name where you're transmitting from if you'd like. And did you see Life Pod from 1993? Here we go.
This is November 5, Bravo, Bravo. Yes, I saw the movie. I took notes. And I'm not going to ask for my 2 front teeth for Christmas because I already got one of them replaced. It's an implant, N5BB.
Tango Mike, Alice. I did not see the movie, and I do not know the hip for Christmas.
PLT, Bill. Whiskey 5, tomato, and I do not want a gallbladder for Christmas. I'm glad to be rid of the one I had. I did see the movie.
Whiskey Bravo 5, Oscar Lima. Decided I did the movie. Still working on my Christmas list.
Kilo Whiskey Golf Cruise in Arlington. I saw the wrong film, and I suffered greatly for it. And I don't know what I want for Christmas. Right now I want a hot chocolate with a little bourbon in it.
I think the usual suspects have in. Some usual problems occurred too. Let's see, N5BB, Bill and Irving, yeah, he saw it, and he doesn't need his two friends. Yeah, I know that's a similar issue there, Bill. NT5TM, Tony. Oh, he does not want to hip no, he movie. Tony, you're going to have to start watching these films. This is like a month now. You've got to see these films so that we can discuss them and then tell you you're wrong. And W5BT, he did see it. I don't remember what he was looking for Christmas because I couldn't hear him there for a minute. But I'm sure it was something really cool. Next, WB5OZL. Yes, saw the film. She's still working on her Christmas list. KI5KWG. Cruz in Arlington. He watched the wrong film. I knew it was going to happen since there were these that were not this spot. But maybe Cruz can tell us about his version of life, and then we want to watch it at his date. So his is a yes, but no. Anyone else check in at this time? Tonight's movie is Life Pod from 1993. 1993. Please come with your call sign, your name, and did you see Life Pod?
Kilo Bravo 9, Sierra Oscar Kilo, Sean Fort Worth. Yes, I did see this.
I think the final test just on this Brown 9SOK, that would be Sean in Fort Worth. Yes, he did see the movie. Okay, listen up, everybody. I'm going to mix up the order a little bit. So what I'm going to do is reverse order tonight. So we're going to Sean, then we're going to go and then Brenda, and then the other Bill. In that order, because it's something different to do. So we'll start with Sean, KB9SOK. What did you think about the film, the plot itself? KEKACX.
Yeah, this is KB9SOK. How you caught me off guard there. I'd run back the radio. That's all right. Well, this one was we've obviously, you said this was kind of a remake of, I guess, the one on the water, but similar like this forest survival type situation. But I found the plot on this one kind of holes, like their ship was there. And starting with that was one of the first plot holes. It just seems like they didn't fully flush the entire thing out. It seemed like they wrote it in a hurry, and finding out this was a TV made movie, it kind of makes times they don't get the love should. It just seemed like they thought all the way through, and you know, even there right there at the beginning with being off, and then all them only actually patching 2 out of the 20 that it took, and with that, I think that they're more than what they showed there. One thing that irritates me about these kind of movies, and I guess I don't know what else you would really do if you didn't. The bickering among the people was just ridiculous. At points it kind of spurs, and you know what you put in place, actually they're trying to survive. You're pretty well predictable, and maybe it is because we've seen other ones like this. You knew there had to be a bad. It seemed really kind of obvious, at least to me. It seemed like very early on, I felt that it was most likely probably the guy that was pretending to be blind, because he didn't seem right, and to me the other ones were too obvious suspects, and you knew they weren't going to make it that easy. they weren't easy to get the guy, escape prisoner. That would just been too easy to blame it on him. So he knew he was going to turn out to be one of the good guys. And then, of course, in the end, the reporter turned around and started acting more civilized. And the second plot they felt was that during her part there, at the beginning, they should have just kept filming while these other people were fighting for their lives and trying to help each other. And she just sat there. I don't think the rest of them would have took that very well. I'm pretty sure they would have very quickly, and or threw her out the airlock. It's like really that seemed that they would put that. So yeah, it just seemed like this one had little tiny plot hole after tiny plot hole after tiny plot hole like that, and it's just it's a type too that all got away with these private conversations and then overhear each other, and I should have put down notes, so I did this more in a better order. But even towards the end there, when the guy there, Dan, that had the bad leg, it's like, really, no one would hear that, it just doesn't seem very realistic. I think they should be more clever ways for the bad guy to take care of the people. If they really were going to do that, and then it just this one I wouldn't have even gave it 3 stars. Personally, there were parts okay, but for the most of them, this one's great. And we have some decent, actors in this film too. They had a pretty decent list. They've all done work. I think most of them in other stuff. So, but I don't know that this is their fault. I think it was just not the best writing. And so yeah, I'm going to be curious. I should have wrote down. I know there were several. It seems like with every character there was a major plot hole. And all right. Curious to see what the rest thinks. But so yeah, rushed whoever wrote it and just really flush everything for it to make more sense and be more realistic and be a little bit more of a mystery than what it was. So anyway, that's all I got. Back to that. KB9, that's okay.
Thank you, Sean. And thank you for comments. Next up is Cruz, KF5KWG. We're going in reverse order. Then after that, Brenda, I will set out. We'll go ahead and start with Cruz, KI5KWG. Cruz, what do you think about the plot on this one? Have stepped away, and of course he had the other movie. I think everybody's strategic plans their order, and I heard to be it up, but run off. All right, Brenda, and then I'll come back to Cruz. WB5 said L, and then after that I'm going to Bill, W5BLT. So we'll start with Brenda. Brenda, your thoughts on the plot?
This is WB50ZL. Well, I thought the plot was pretty good. It was an interesting story. Boy, it's hard. Could anything go more wrong for these people? Kind of. But I don't have any problems with the plot as far as plot holes or ability. I think I understand this is a remake of something else, so I don't have any idea what that other thing might have been. There were some surprises. I guess it had kind of a happy ending. Somebody lived. And then, was a plot twist that the guy got blind, and some surprises. Wasn't exactly everyone who you thought they were going to be. I think this underscores just how unforgiving space is and how bad life could be in space if things go wrong. Of course, we've seen that with some of our own space disasters. It's wrong. It goes really, really wrong. But I thought it was well done. It was well paced and well written, well acted. A couple of real, notables. The others I just didn't know. Maybe has been in a lot of movies, shows. I couldn't place where I had seen her, but she's a well-renowned actress and had some nominations for. She's really good, and she was really good in this. She's just an amazing. But I'm straying from the path, so well, I guess that's what I say. But WWW.
Thank you, Brenda. And next up is Bill, W5BLT. Bill, what were your thoughts about the plot to 1993 version of KE5ICX? One after that, Tony.
Hey, Tom. Well, we'll just say this. I was saying I do not want a gallbladder under the tree for Christmas. I'm glad to be rid of the one I had. I think I'm going to be rid of this movie too. Really interesting movie. The one scene I could have done without the sawing the leg, and even though I couldn't see that, just the audio of it, I had it gave me nightmares. Anyway, the plot was good. It actually is. I know it's not the same thing, but I'm going to watch the 1981 Life Party half-hour one, and it makes me want to go back and see if I can find the lifeboat this was kind of a tribute to. I guess they didn't want to remake it. I guess that Alfred Hitchcock had, I think, was on a lifeboat in the ocean. So this was lifeboat in space. It was good. I kind of saw through the blind thing right away. Something was up with the blind guy. I used to work at a center who helped train at the center train who lost their and I was really this guy, and I kind of think up with this guy. This didn't surprise me. Too well adjusted for somebody who lost their vision. I should the stuff about the vibration in the ship and him going over and over that again. I thought that was kind of had flags raised there. But I like the movie. I think it does present some interesting things. I what you if you had 8 people or so, or 10 people on a out in space, and of course then they were doing the calculations of if we lost this many people, then the survival go up. And I don't want to give any spoilers away for those who haven't seen it, so I'll tread carefully. But it was just interesting. So I did like the movie, but I could have really done without amputating. W5BLT. Back to you, Tom.
Bill. Well, the poor fellow lost his footing in his scene. But next up is Tony, NT5TM. Tony, actually, this movie is a remake of Alfred's life. Maybe film, or maybe you haven't, or maybe you just like to I don't know, people bickering and made to stay in the same place all the time, like for an entire day, like at work or something. So, Tony, if you got anything you'd like to talk about, by all means, say something, because there's seven here, and maybe even 6. People are dropping just like. What do you got? 5 ICS.
Good evening, Tom. Well, oddly enough, I did watch an Afterglow movie this week, although I was past due. I caught a little bit by watching Airport. I'd actually been quite a lot of those old these disaster novels. I'd read the book for Airport and Towering Inferno, the Strain and Comb and a variety of popular wrong books from the 70s. Yep, I was pretty curious to compare Airport to the book, and I enjoyed doing recommend there the book. Watch and amusing things. For this, I am much more curious to watch the Hitchcock movie. A very famous record. Don't know why people think it's such an awesome movie, but yet Aaron and I both absolutely love Northwest. So will this be with the original? We love a copy of, or one that we just rent and feel embarrassed about? We don't know. Definitely more interested in Hitchcock original. But I do want to report, I did watch Airport, just not in time for the net. Currently watching Ghostbusters. It's just so much fun. NT5TM.
Well, very good. Thank you, Tony. I knew you'd have some sort of comment. And yes, we had a wonderful, as you know, we had a wonderful discussion at the airport. It's one of my favorite caramel corn movies to watch as well. So, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen Lifeboat, believe it or not. It seems terrible that I have not, but have indeed not seen that film. So, any of my comments are going to be somewhat, I don't know, conjectural. Last but not least, but first to check in was Bill, N5BB. Bill has notes. So, Bill, fill us in on what we didn't cover already, and I'll bet you it's a lot, from KE5ICS.
Well, thank you, Tom, and the rest of the group. This is N5BB. Yes, I saw the movie. I also saw years ago the 1944 film by Alfred Hitchcock, Lifeboat. And there are a number of plot similarities. Of course, there's major differences. The biggest one, of course, was the water versus a life space. But there's a lot of other differences. But there's a lot of similarities. For instance, there's a woman with a child, which is dead when they're pulled from the water in the Lifeboat, the old movie. There is a wealthy industrialist. There is a columnist that has a camera, a news person. And there is a German U-boat person who is kind of the equivalent here probably would be prison. There's people because they were drinking, in this case they were drinking contaminated and she was saying they may start hallucinating and having big problems. So a number of they purposely made this used things in the old movie. Anyway, I believe the year was actually 2168. It started Christmas 2068, ended in early January of 2169. So I think some of the sources there are reporting the ending, but I believe it's Eve 2168. They were, I believe, returning from Jupiter, although I saw one website said they were going to Jupiter, but I think that they turned flight from Jupiter, if I remember correctly. And some things I thought that were kind of here many years. Remember, it's next year it'll be 30 years ago. This movie was made 30 years ago and released 29 years ago. So this is a long time ago. And so they had things which appear here anachronistic. For instance, for something that's supposed to occur in the future by 140 years, they had the Christmas card with the recorded, music. Those were maybe new back in the early 90s, but that's kind of stuff. The control panels were all the old lit-up switches from the 80s and 90s. They didn't attempt to make them anything futuristic. And there were a lot of other things about it was rather mechanical with these big, ugly-looking gears and things. And, in some sense, it didn't even a little bit punk, nearly side. It didn't really look to me like even a continuation of a pop technology. It was a little crude to me. So I didn't think they did a very good job being Let's see, some other things about plot. The baby, the sealed container that we didn't get to see, and that being alive to the life support system. That was a little extreme. And the mother dying. And by the way, in the original Lifeboat movie, after the baby dead, and in the original Lifeboat movie, and the mother goes crazy, and they have to strap her down, just like this mother had to be strapped down. So there's some similarities there. But the thing of her dying and injecting both of them, oh man, that's pretty tough to look at. Just like the amputating the leg, and to me this was kind of the top there, too much. I think was raised as LV or something. I don't know. It's pretty violent for some 18-year-old's going to look at a there's politics in there, but the argument about the director and all that kind of stuff. That was kind of interesting. The big guy that was in charge of it that didn't because they didn't have things they should have had in the pod. Yeah. One of those kind of political things. At some point, that part of the plot went back really quickly. I think it was a beacon. They were releasing kind of emergency beacon something. Notice to do manual cardiovascular resuscitation, and it failed. And I'm thinking, didn't they? I think in 1990 they were probably developed, or they weren't in widespread use. The automatic defibrillators and things. You would thought that futuristic movie they would have had some kind of automatic defibrillator cardiovascular thing on there. So some of their medical things appeared a little primitive to me. What else? One thing, plot, the tail of a comet supposedly damaged the ships, and had a lot of radiation. And I don't know about that. That didn't seem very scientific to me. Comet tails are awfully thin, and I didn't really understand that the shields were damaged by the comet tail. I also didn't understand why they couldn't close. Why did they really need to leave them open so long? You'd think they could have had a little fiber optic video thing to really side. We're at the time of LCD, so all the video things were CRT. I thought it was an interesting plot device that Maven, CCH, she has three names, and so everybody just calls her CCH, pound actress. That was the pilot. I thought a pretty good job. Kind of rough because she had to get all the radiation and die up, and couldn't reach her with her plot device. Cyborg, played by Ed Gale, Q3, which is an interesting plot device, and it didn't explain him at all. I think it was a fully human small person with a mechanical thing in charging, but they didn't explain exactly. They essentially left him when they relieved. I didn't understand that. I mean, machine. He means person with an added thing on his body, but they kind of treated him was a or something, not really alive. I guess that's all my about the IDD.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Now it's time to ask if anyone else would like to join us this evening. Tonight's movie is Life Pod from 1993, a Fox made-for-TV movie about several people stranded on a life after the explosion of a spacecraft. An Alfred Hitchcock film, 40 believe. So if you'd like to join us this evening, you don't have to have seen the movie. If you just want to check in and say hi, you can do that as well. Please come with your call sign, your name, and did you see? Bye. Now. Okay, I suspected that. I think we've got our core group here. So I'm going to go to the which is Sean 9SOK.
wasn't blind. Was Silver. Was very responsible. Movie. He killed himself off. I think he did an okay job on it, although I agree with the other people that the writing was kind of uneven on this, and because of the really bad way, I think, that they treated both women with the baby and the guy whose leg was never and also just completely despicable. The Ron Silver character, the guy that made up he wasn't really blind. I mean, they were it was just bad and I don't know. It's just a little too much for me. It's over the top. That's what I'll say. It's too much. They didn't quite do this, you know. And there was a little bit going on in the movie. I mean, he was trying to poke a hole in the thing and kill people, and bang, 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 and that I don't know. That was a little. And then, of course, the woman that put her hand over it. You know, kind of looked like things were spewing in from outside. They would have been going in direction. It was a little bit odd. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see that easily, but me, like, even though the hand was being held up there, things spewing in outside when they poked a hole through it, which wasn't right. But maybe I just missaw it. Other sessions. The here Rena character that Rena character, the woman with short hair, I didn't exactly understand her character very well early on. By the end of the movie, I finally kind of understood it, but it was a little some characterization who was what they really were muddy to me early on. Something about the combination of the directing and the writing wasn't clear as I think it could have been. The same thing with the woman with the camera. Took me a little while to figure out exactly what do everything, what she and what her position was, and to me that a little bit more clear right up front. Let's see. You had Robert Loggia, I guess is how you pronounce his name, as the director of Banks. He was a very famous actor. That was a thing, just a huge thing. Well, and so was Robert Loggia, really in a lot of things. So he was the right. I think that was the right kind. He played those kind of characters. I think it was the right kind of guy to play a character like Director Banks. The character that was he played the kind of somewhat evil director, stuffed shirt, pretty good. But although they overwrote it, it was kind of too much over the top stuff kind of thing. A politician. The photographer about her. Well, they were trying to obnoxious. Pretty good job. It was a little top also. That John character. The guy that lost. I guess he he acted it pretty well, but again, to me, they made it too serious. I mean, all that stuff about steel, inject, he can inject himself, that caused his leg to go. Again, a little overriding to me. They didn't have to do all that. It was too much over the top. CCH Pounder that played Mavine, the pilot. Of course, she didn't get to move around. She was stuck up there in the front. So she wasn't walking around her. We just saw her face there in her head, but I thought she did a good job. Q3 did all the moving. The cyborg played by Ed. I thought he did a pretty good doing that. He played it, and he was responsible for everything. Again, I don't think they explained very well exactly what kind of cyborg he was, and his backstory would have been interesting if they'd said a little bit about it. Everybody else treated him, like I say, kind of like he was a robot or not a really human. That was a little bit confusing to me. He was nearly treated like a slave or something, a robotic slave, but he was until. And then the prisoner, I don't know. It was weird to write that. He kind of first saying that he hid the political prisoner thing kind of for a while, or that was a little kind of confusing. I thought the character okay. I just thought some of it was overdone. They didn't have to go far over it. They did a little bit more of a murder mystery as to going over the top with the event, all that kind of stuff. And the baby, they could have made that little more and they appear crazy, and I don't know. Over the top is what I say. Again, I don't want to watch this movie again. It's just too much over the top. And some of this is the characterization, not just the plot, but also the characterizations that are a little too much. That's all I got. Inside BB.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you, Bill. And yep. Opinion? There's nothing wrong with your opinion at all. It had a tendency to. Plus, my body decided that this was so uninteresting thing. My body rebelled just because, gosh, it was kind of boring to me. And when they started yelling at one another, it was like, sounds like. So I just didn't watch much. So I don't have a lot to say about characterization. But I will ask, does anybody else want to check this? Do please come. Call sign name, and did you see Life 1999? As I said, the answer is no. Okay. My characterization, I don't have much to add. I think, Bill, you pretty much everything two characters were very discreet, but not all that interesting and over the top. I agree with you on that one, Bill. From what I can remember watching this thing last night. So I'm not going to belabor the point. It's not the T and kind of less and mostly. Oh, well, we got 30 if we feel so inclined. We'll just go through special effects or anything else you may have missed out on. Plenty. I have a feeling we'll through this pretty quickly. So I'm going to start at the top of the That's the bottom. Starting with Sean 9SO. Sean, anything on or anything we've not spoken about so far from AE5 ICX?
Yeah, this is KB9SOK. Yeah, I think we've pretty well covered it. At the end of the day, it was pretty simple. So there was not a whole lot there. As far as special effects, you know, it's made for TV in the 90s, so I guess. You know, as usual, and actually Bill covered this earlier, I think pretty thoroughly. The ship did look like it was pretty old technology for something that's supposed to be 100 years in our future. And, you know, even, you know, in that time frame, we had shows like Star Trek, Next Generation, that had a more modern, you know, touch. And at that time, we didn't really have much, even today, you know, to really the modern times we have actually, you know, fluid working touch panels and like that. And, you know, at least I had some foresight in that show to modernize it. You know, I can understand when the original Star Trek series in that time frame, those science fictions, they still use switches and lights, and just because that's, you know, kind of what they, you know, it's really all they had. They had pretty far back, but in the 90s, yeah, I would have expected this ship to be, you know, just a life pod, a lot more high tech than, you know, as primitive as it looked. I was also kind of taken back that as well. I looked okay as far as you know, together, but they just, you know, they didn't really think about what it would really be like in 100 years. And then yeah, even in the one room, which was control, you know, had the we've seen all those old TV shows back in the 60s and 70s with all the flashing lights being shown you the computer thinking, and you know, so we're almost wondering if that was a partial set for something else from a long time ago. They just reused it. Yeah, so that and we I can't remember what year. The other science fiction around that time, but anyway, yeah, it was just a special effects, great. You know, the outside views were even a little rough. So yeah, not a lot there, and that's really all. They even copped out towards the end there when the guy had you know, school. You know, well, you know, lasers can be caught through the scanner, and it's like, really, you were that cheap? You didn't even want to laser pistol? So yeah, special effects, and I agree. You know, it's not something I would watch again. Like I said, it wasn't horrible, but it was on the boring side to some extent, and it's just kind of forgettable. Yeah, it's by far not the worst, but it's not even up there with the better sci-fis by any means that we've seen. So yeah, I won't drag this out. I'm sure everybody would like to get tips so they can maybe 9SOK.
Thank you, Sean. No comments. Okay. Is Cruise K5KWG. Cruise, you want to tell me? Hey, how about special effects in the other life pod from KE5I6?
Dismal. KI5, K5G. The special effects was dismal in the other one, as was the acting, as was the script, etc. So, but I have something fun that dawned on me. What I had done when I was silent before is I was actually keying up on my B-band on this radio, which lies flat on the top of the side. As a touch very sensitive, I had certainly touched the B-band and was transmitting to it. I look over to the ISS on the APRS frequency, which I've been playing with lately, and the crystal waiting on arrives Wednesday. I bought for myself is actually, well, a couple of things, but the one that's of interest, or at least to the east, is that stand the head unit my radio I'm on, so that I will quit bumping it when I reach over to pick up my coffee mug or whatever, and so that I'll actually stand that was myself for Christmas. Y'all, Merry Christmas, and this is KWG, back to net.
Thank you for talking about something interesting movie. So good, and have fun with that thing. Next up is Brenda, WB50ZL, and then after that, Bill, W5BLT. So Brenda, go ahead. Your comments, whatever you want to talk about, special effects, or anything maybe you missed or would like to make clear about LifePod from 1993.
This is WB50ZL. Special effects pretty much below on the whole. It was just a real dreary scene there. Not too many amenities, but somebody's trying to save money, so they don't spend it on preparation, and what a common story that is. Companies get their computers hacked because we don't have money to spend for that. Good security and beep fires because they just plan. It's just such a common story. If we just look to be prepared. It's very annoying, and it was, of course, annoying in this movie too. Now, one thing I hated, one of my pet peeves in so many movies, is the jerky camera. Somebody holding the camera is jerking it around. I believe this is a technique that proves something. I don't know what. To me, it's just annoying, and it doesn't add to the drama or the to the story. Certain TV shows that do this all the time too, and I won't even watch them. Yeah. I think they had pretty believable sets, unlike a lot of others where it's just mostly flashy lights that don't fit anything. I appreciated that. I thought that the sets were pretty good. Internet, WB50ZL.
Thank you, Brenda. Next up, Bill, W5B, and then Bill, you're fine. On specs or whatever you want to talk about, or you can talk about anything you want. Maybe what you're going to get for Christmas because you already know because you know. Go ahead.
Okay, hopefully I make the repeater, Tom. I'm on the HT. I was out from the radio room. I think I'm getting clothes for Christmas because I've lost some weight and am in need of clothes. So I expect anything electronic cool like that, just clothes. I thought the sawing off of the leg was very realistic in the screaming. And that's what I'm really left with from this film, W5BLT.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Yeah, that is the most memorable scene, especially since it me up with the guy thing. Only memorable for me. Yeah, I got a problem. I've lost a lot of weight, and I need clothes again. I started wearing the clothes when I could do this back, when I had the line now, and they're kind of old, so I need new stuff. But it'll do for next. The NT5. Tony, tell us. No hippo. But what will you get tomorrow? What do you think you're going to get tomorrow? And yeah, that's a good question. What do you think you're going to get tomorrow? What would you like to get tomorrow? What might you buy yourself that you might not get otherwise? From KE5I.
Well, I don't know. We've got to apply hippopotamus for so I'm not sure. I think the biggest thing Aaron and I would like would be a couple of weeks off from other duties so that we could clean the house and throw things all out. We're trying not to add too much more stuff. But yeah, our weights are changing. We're getting older. We need different clothes. So I'm not much here for gifts, and I'm not going to tell Erin what they are because she's right. Yeah, maybe we'll think of eventually, and we'll have Christmas in February or something. NT5 to you.
Good, that's Tony. Yeah, well, you know, there's Amazon or you know, there's always that the guy will bring you. Still love him, right? A truck would show up, you'll buy ice cream, and now you wait for the Amazon truck to show up with something you bought, something you may have forgotten you bought too. That's happened to me more than once, and it's like Christmas. Oh, look what I ordered! I forgot about. There's a whole story with that too. Okay, last is Bill 5BB. Final comment on life from 1990 or anything you're going to get your Christmas, or what you're getting me for Christmas too. Whatever you want, Bill, from KE5ICX.
Okay, Tom, this is N5BB. Well, I tried to buy you Christmas earlier this week, but you were unavailable. You were busy doing that four-letter thing that you still do called WOA. I mean, passe. I mean, I gave up on that 3 years ago. But I still need to do it, so that's okay. As far as other Brenda said something I thought was right on, and now I'm trying to remember which one of her good comments it was. But now I'm forgetting. It was right on, though. Thank you. Never use good. As far as I'll say again, the end thing did not look futuristic to me. It looked like big mechanical, ugly gears, old switches. To give you an idea, this movie the company for Tektronix in 1986 of touch oscilloscopes that had infrared light beams. This is before, you know, the modern touch screens. But they had a grid of infrared light beams, and you could touch things, and they would do things. It was contact-sensitive things. So this is, you know, like 7 years before this movie came out, and they had this open technology. So I don't know. I don't think they spent very those kind of things. Did it look kind of realistic? Yes, except it doesn't look futuristic. You know, it looked kind of okay. It looked a 70s spacecraft. It didn't even look like a 90s spacecraft to me. It looked at something from the Apollo age, and it didn't even have some of the neat look of some of the Apollo. It was near the Apollo. So I didn't like the look of it. It looked like a version of space station when it was originally all clumped together. Everything kind of tacked on. Nothing clean. So I didn't part of it. I didn't like the fact that the comet tail was a problem. I don't think that's very realistic. I didn't like the radiation shields. Why didn't close? Why'd they bother to open up? Anyway, just a mixture of old and new, and it didn't look futuristic. It really didn't look like it was from 2168 to 2169 to me. They had their goggles that looking at the future. They were very foggy. They weren't clear. They need to wipe their goggles off. Look completely. They would have better like magnetic receiver. They would have to see the space craft and they have better emergency stuff in there. They would have better food. It was crummy, which of course they were complaining about, but still, this at all. What else about it? By the way, for the other bill, you probably don't realize it, but the cyborg, which was a Q3, got a removable machinery that was in place of one of his hands, and he one point, and he plugged in this saw on it, and then he cauterized it with some kind of torch or something, and he's the one that did it. So, boy. Okay, about a horrible scene there. Anyway, Tom, too much over the top for me. I don't want to walk in. I don't want. It's completely bloody. I mean, there's bloodier other movies, but in some sense, it's just kind of repugnant to look at. You know, it's looking at Tarantino. You know, if you're not prepared for it, you know, in front of this thing and sticking in front of Kill Bill, and you weren't ready for Kill Bill. You the comedy or something. Okay, that's all I got. Oh, and Christmas. Well, all my relatives are way out of town now. I was able to see some of them this last week on Monday, and that was Christmas for me. It was good enough. And I went out my weight and got down to my target weight April the 15th, tax day. And so for the last month, right target range. To buy any more clothes because I got down to my target weight. I can't gain any weight though, or I'll have a problem. So I've got to stay in the target rate. When I was at my little family meeting, it was due to some services for a deceased aunt who was 96 years old on Monday at a graveyard in Gatesville, Texas. My cousins, his wife had the gastric surgery, and she weird so much weight. She had all kinds of loose skin. So wow. I see what happens when somebody loses a lot of weight. Unfortunately, her cousin had lost 50 pounds, but he gained it back, so he's very rotund. Me and my cousins, as we were there talking there at that family get-together, it was all, you know, people have had, who's still alive, who's getting sick, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, that's the main topics when you get old. Good evening. Merry Christmas. And 5B, be clear.
All right, thank you, Bill. And yes, ditto, and all that stuff. Yeah, when you get older, the thing is, you don't go out and be social or as sociable as you might be. Although you're a pretty sociable guy, you got a lot of stuff going with Space Society and all that. So, and I guess maybe I do too. But everybody else in the world, they kind of just
look in and just talk about, health issues and all that. God forbid. That does happen, as we all know, and it happens to everybody else around you too. So what talk about health. Okay, my comment tonight. Outside of the special effects, that's easy enough. They weren't so special. At least I could see that. Everything else I could fall asleep. I was thinking about it. In fact, playing in the background, Randy was in Trek 2009 reboot movie series, and I was that's going on. With I think the brewery they've got on the Enterprise that they use, which is a Budweiser brewery that was supposed to be the engine room. And there's a where they go potty, and it's in an Arctic location, but it's got light switches. It's supposed to be the 23rd century, and they've got normal light switches with external electrical and all that. Well, this thing qualifies for that as well. It does a lot of the same things. It looks like a submarine in space. Or another, that's supposed to be modern technology. No way. As in Star Trek that had some really good special effects. There's some really dorky